I need on the pull-up bar, like TRX, everything like that. Got, a bunch of plates and dumbbells and stuff. So pretty good setup.
That's
And
legit.
then
Nice.
and then hitting wise, just been going to the cages that we go to, and it's a big open cage, so we're able to do like ground balls in there and stuff like that. So
sweet.
It's pretty cool. Yeah.
Man, you guys got a lot. You got a lot of land in Vegas, man. You don't have your own cage set up in your backyard or what?
I know, man. I wish, dude. So like where I'm at, I have a town home, so I just have a front porch. I don't have a backyard, but whenever I do end up buying like a bigger house, that's what I definitely would want to do for sure.
For sure. You got your guys out there that you train with in the off season?
Yeah, we have a lot of guys out here. So Johnny Field, Joey Rickard, obviously Bryce and Chris work out here too. Chris Carter, Tommy Pham.
Chris Carter, is he still playing?
Yeah, he's in Mexico actually.
Oh, dang! I played against that guy my first year in pro ball in 2006 when he was with the White Sox, and I think he was just fresh out of high school then.
Really?
Yeah, and we were like, who is this donkey? This young kid crushing bombs like Frank Thomas.
It's not even fair watching him hit. It's stupid. So much pop. But there's a bunch of guys out here, man. It's a lot of fun. We have a great setup, even like during the off season and everything like that. We're able to go out to the new Las Vegas Ballpark Stadium and train out there and hit on the field, which is cool. So yeah, it's been great.
Dude, that's so much better than because I played at Cashman.
Dude, Cashman's so bad.
That was dump. I mean, compared to most of the stadiums in the PCL, and then obviously for AAA standards, but now obviously the Aviators have that new stadium. I think it's in Summerlin, right?
Yeah, it's in Summerlin, like the perfect area, dude. Literally, it's right next to the practice facility for the Knights. It's next to his big mall, outdoor mall. Like it's literally like prime time spot.
Nice. I got a buddy out there I used to play with in the Jays organization. Now is just with the Nationals. Eric Thames.
Yeah, Thames has been out here. He works out with us too. Yeah, he's a great dude, man.
I've been trying to get him on this podcast too, and he just says acts like he has, too much going on. I said, man, you're just lifting right now and hitting. That's all you're doing.
Exactly. He has plenty of time, bro. I'll try and reach out to him for you.
Good.
But he's a good dude. He cracks me up, man. Especially when I got to be with him with the Brewers too. So it was pretty cool.
That's right. Yeah. Character. That guy is
he is a character.
He's a good dude. But you got a lot of good company out there, man. So
yeah, we do.
Good.
So it's been great.
So let's get started. I know your time is valuable. I don't want to waste it. I appreciate you coming on this interview with Road to the Show podcast. So thank you for that.
Absolutely, man. We got time,
dude. This is crazy. So I looked up your numbers for your season.
When are we starting? We starting now?
Yeah, we're starting. Whatever.
Okay. My bad.
Pretend like, you know what? This is like the social distancing, right? So pretend like we're in the dugout, at the Aviator Stadium, just chilling.
Let's do it, man.
But crazy. So little intro to you, and I'll let you kind of take the floor. But I wanted to say, unreal senior year you had. You were Nevada's Gatorade Player of the Year. 547 batting average with 57 RBIs, 11 bombs, and 28 stolen bags in how many games? 30 games?
I'd say around 30 games, 32 games. Yeah.
That's awesome, man. And then you were committed to any state, right? Arizona State?
Yep, committed to Arizona State. So
and all that was out the window because you were drafted in the first round by the Tampa Bay Rays in 2011. Correct.
Yep, correct. So no, it was crazy, man. I mean, senior year was a lot of fun. We had a really good team, and I remember every single moment of that year. Unfortunately, it ended sooner than I wanted to. It was a crazy way to lose my last game of my senior year, but overall it was great, and very fortunate to be able to get drafted in the first round, which is awesome. So obviously I couldn't turn that down. I wanted to go to ASU. It would have been would have been a blast. But yeah, I couldn't turn down that that offer, and just being able to say I was a first rounder. You never know, that may not have happened if I would have went to college. So I'm so glad I took that took that opportunity, and it's been a great career so far.
Absolutely. I mean, not many players can say, I was drafted in the first round, but at the end of the day, you start your pro career, at 20 or 20 and 18. And I mean, you can always go back to school, but how many
Exactly.
guys can, I mean, a lot can happen from your senior year, graduating high school, going to college, and, see what happens. And you could get hurt, could fall to the 30th round. I mean, there's just a lot of variables,
Exactly.
obviously. So it's like, you take it, run, and get your dream started, and school will always be there. So
Exactly. And that's exactly how I thought about it too. I wanted to get right. I wanted to get into pro ball right away and get my feet wet and get going. And, it worked out for me. Like I said, it's been a great career. So, but unfortunately I had to, go through some injuries, but overall it's been great.
yeah. So I wanted to ask you, like, what did you do in high school? So we're gonna go way back, obviously, to high school, way back, right? For you, you're still young, man. But and then obviously we'll lead up to now. But going back to high school, when you were in high school, what did you do? And I'm sure there was a plethora of things that you were doing, but what did you do to set yourself apart from everyone else to make yourself one of the select first rounders? I mean, like, how did you put yourself in that position?
Oh man. I mean, honestly, dude, like I just love to work. I've always been like I would love to thank my head coach, Nate Selby, for this, but he always, like my freshman year, he always said, bring your lunch pail to work every day and have that attitude that, no matter what I'm doing, I'm working, as hard as I possibly can. And I took pride to that. And I would say, like, throughout my whole high school career, even if we'd practice for my team, maybe later that night I go to the cages at like 8 o'clock at night and go hit some more. My dad loved to work with me, so every Sunday when we won't have practice, I would go. My coach gave me a key to the field, and just go. My dad would hit me ground balls. He'd throw to me in the cage, and we just work on different things. I'll run some poles. Like I'll do whatever I can to do that extra work. And so that's what I feel like kind of separated me through high school, is because I always had that work ethic and willing to get better each day. So I would say that kind of separated me from a lot of players.
You're willing to put in the work that a lot of guys weren't doing.
Right.
Days and times where other guys were taking some time off. I mean, you were hungry out there trying to get better and find ways to set yourself apart, like you said. So
Exactly. So it
and
was. I
that
mean,
was your mindset, right? I mean, the whole time through high school.
oh yeah, the whole time through high school. I love our baseball program. We were built to win, and I wanted to win and do whatever I can to, win for the team and be a great teammate. But yeah, man, I always wanted to get better. Especially I was, fortunate to be a freshman on varsity, and being with those older guys. Like I wanted to make sure that, I could, be right there with them. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
and even like growing up in club ball and stuff like that, I always kind of played up in age wise. So I always wanted to compete and be at the higher level. And I feel, yeah, that's so throughout high school, I just wanted to make sure that I could be the best I could possibly can. And especially my senior year, when I realized that I could possibly get drafted, the work ethic grew even more.
Mm-hmm.
And people were saying I could possibly be a first rounder, or like people were saying I'd be a second rounder, whatever. I wanted to be a first rounder, so I did whatever I possibly could to make that come true. And unfortunately, it happened, which was awesome.
That's awesome. Well, congrats on that, brother. So going from high school to pro ball, what would you say was the biggest eye opener and transition that you realized you had to make?
Oh man.
Every kid coming out of high school to pro ball, whether you're first round or not, I mean, thinks, hey, man.
Yeah. Oh yeah, no doubt. There was a lot of things, man.
Best guy in my town. So.
Dude, there was a lot of things. I mean, I remember I got drafted, signed the papers, blah, blah, blah. And they said, all right, you're going to go to Princeton, West Virginia. And I had no idea where Princeton, West Virginia was. I haven't been that far away from, I haven't been that far away from home. I have no idea what that is.
No.
And of course my mom is, upset that I'm leaving, but she's super excited for me. It was like the first time I kind of really left my parents, which was tough. But once I got out there and just seeing guys, being around older guys doing their thing, I guess like the biggest eye opener was I had to like really learn how to grow off the field, meaning like doing my laundry, like making making like you know what I mean, like the little
Yeah.
things that you don't have to worry about, as a high school
Yeah.
kid sometimes. But no, I say the biggest adjustment though was probably just the game speed of how fast the game changes. You know, and especially at each level, like going from rookie ball all the way up to AAA, like the game speeds up, and that, like it's just
Of
like,
course.
um, so
And
that, I
when
think
you
that was the
say
biggest adjustment.
speeds up in which way? Like I know what you're talking about, but for
Yeah,
those that might not, I mean, what do
yeah.
you?
So I think the game speeds up, meaning like the tempo of the game. It's one, you're seeing velocity from every pitcher that's out there. Balls are hit harder. Um, you have to make quicker reactions. You have to make quicker decisions,
Mhm.
and certain things. Guys are a lot faster. Guys are, just the same talent as you, or even better. So like you have to
Mhm.
be on your toes. You have to be ready for, like certain, there's times during high school games you got guys that throwing 80 miles an hour,
Yeah.
just flipping it in there, But then once you get into pro ball, like you're seeing live arms every single day, 90, 95 and above, and you just got to be ready for that. And then, yeah, especially like when my rookie season, when my first game at short, like just like how much faster it was. Like no, like maybe like a backhand play. Normally I kind of have some time, or I could read it better and just be easy with it. But then there's times where, all right, I really need to get rid of this and stuff like that, and just be quicker and don't have that much time, not much thinking. Just a lot of just reaction.
Yeah. How did you make that adjustment? I'm sure you had to make that adjustment quick, not only figuring out how to make meals and do your own laundry on your own, right? But
Yeah.
also adjusting to the speed of the game. Like,
So yeah, the biggest thing for me was when I was with the Rays, I was very, like, the coaching staff was great. And so we always had like early work. We always had extra work and everything like that. So like we do a bunch of different drills to kind of like have like game simulations like that. And then I think it's more just repetition. So being a pro ball, you get to play every single day, which is great.
yeah,
So I think over time, as the season went on, you got in your groove and you started to figure it out. And I think that's what the biggest thing is. By just keep playing and playing and playing, you play so many games. So by that time, you get used to that, and that's how you get better at it. Adjusting to the game. And um, yeah, I think I would say that's mostly it right there, is by just playing every single day.
for sure. Just being able to bring it back in and kind of slow it down for yourself in a way.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, yeah, but then, yeah, like mentally being able to um, focus on the task at hand, and being able to slow the game down, and just being in the moment, and just not worrying about things around you, not worrying about the crowd, just trying to do your best to slow the game down each pitch.
Yeah.
So that's why I learned a lot throughout my career, for sure.
Sure. Now, what kind of advice do you have for players coming out of high school to going to pro ball that are pretty talented players, pretty special guys, and just knowing, what you've been through, your experiences. What are some
Mhm.
advice that you have for those guys that, top of their class, big time players and now going to pro ball? Some things that, from that transition that you experienced. What are some things that you possibly have to say for them?
Man, but the biggest thing for me would be is you worked hard to get where you're at, so don't stop that. And like going back to the work ethic thing, is just like keep keep your mind right and stay focused, and keep the same work ethic that you would have. I think I've seen a lot of guys come into pro ball and they're so talented, but they don't put the work in, and then it shows on the field. And then all of a sudden it gets in their head. So I think a big key is to continue that work ethic, but then also grow a lot more up in the head, in the mind, and be able to
Sure.
control the emotions. I think that's the biggest key in baseball, is being able to accept the failure, and accept that you may be, hitting under 250, but you're not going to be hitting 500 like you are in high school. It's just not, it's just not
Uh,
going to happen. You're
it's
going to,
humbling.
you're going to, yeah, you're going to fail way more than you succeed in this game. And being able to flush it, um, within 5 minutes after the game, you're going to be better off. So I I think the biggest like advice is to grow your mind and be able to accept the failure and be able to bounce back quicker than most people.
For sure.
And especially like when it comes to being, on offense and defense, if you strike out, can you clear your head and just go focus on defense and make the play for your pitcher, and then vice versa, you know what I mean? Vice versa. If you make an error, can you forget about the error, focus on the next play, and then the next at bat, try to, focus on your bat, not worry about the play. So I think the biggest key is just, forgetting the past and just focus on the present and focus on what's right in front of you,
So like you hit the nail on the head. Like that's I would probably have to say it wasn't until like halfway through my career in pro ball that I realized how important that was to just be present and play in the present and not worry about what just happened, the previous at bat or the previous play or whatever, and just wash it away and say like every second is a new opportunity to be like, okay, let's go out and show what we can do and be as present. And it shows too, being present, like it speaks volumes in your play. Like not only,
man.
what you're doing, but just, and it shows your attitude, your body language. So like, I definitely, I mean, like that's great advice. That's like perfect. And that just comes from experience from someone like yourself.
Right.
Let's go into your position. So you're a shortstop, right? You're a shortstop, but you're also a utility guy. Your position is shortstop, but you can kind of play a little bit of everything. What would you say as being a shortstop? Obviously, you're the captain of the infield. When it comes to communication, what are some key points that you like to, let's maybe tell younger players or really emphasize in your game when it comes to that, like communication?
Like communication, like for shortstop?
Playing defensively. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, so like for me, like I take pride in defense. Like that's what I love playing defense and I love playing shortstop. And the biggest thing for me is like each level that I went up, I learned like how to read a swing, how to, all right, what's he going to do in this count? 2-0. Is he going to get the head out here? Is he going to pull this ball? Or is this guy throwing 98 and he's getting blown up? How am I going to play him now? So kind of learning like, the game of baseball, how, and being able to read certain players and what they're kind of doing and determine the situation. But as being a shortstop, like you said, it's the leader of the infield. And for me, like I'm good with communicating and talking with my infielders on, hey, all right, I'm gonna move 2 steps to my right here. I think you should move to the line to the third baseman. Or I tell my second baseman, hey, come over this way. I think he's gonna pull here. Oh, hey, he's inside out. I think you should take a couple steps that way, and kind of just like make sure you're being the leader of the infield and kind of helping each other out. And then also trying like talking in the game, talking your pitcher up. Guys, he's just threw 3 straight balls and trying to maybe go for a mound visit and talk to him. And things like that. Try to just bring the whole like team morale back up, and then even with the outfielders, like obviously they have to do their shifting and everything like that, but talking on a fly ball, knowing where the sun's at, the wind, the way things are going. Maybe it's like twilight, you can't see the ball in the air, make sure we're all talking when the ball goes up, things like that. So just being able to communicate with everyone on the team is what's so awesome, I think, being a shortstop. So like there's a lot of guys that play short that aren't very vocal, but they're just so talented. They can play shortstop. But I think a huge key for short is being able to be that leader of the infield and taking control and doing whatever you can to help that team win. It's because at short, like you're everywhere, man. Like you're every cut, you're every cutoff, like you're a big part, and that's what's so fun about it. So and then going through my whole career, like fortunate to be around like a lot of great coaches and great players and learning from them. So I took pride in it, and even if I'm not playing shortstop, every other position, try to do the same thing.
What were some players that you grew up idolizing and looking up to?
So obviously Jeter's my idol, no doubt. But Tulowitzki, he lives out here in Vegas, so I've always looked up to him. Yeah, I've always looked up to him, and was able to hit with him a few times and take ground balls and
that's cool.
pick his brain a little bit. And and his work ethic, man, is incredible. I've never been able to meet Jeter. It would have been awesome to meet him, but like being able to be around Tulo and see what he goes through and how he, how the way he thinks is awesome.
Yeah.
So I learned a lot from him. But then like with the Rays organization, I had a lot of great coaches. And then being around like in big league camp, was able to be around Longoria and who's obviously he's a third baseman, but great fielder. And then being like around Asdrubal Cabrera one year, Escobar one year, just like picking their brain about shortstop, and it was awesome. So, and then a lot of coaches, like he had passed away a couple of years ago, but Jimmy Hoff, he was our infield coordinator for the Rays, and he taught me a lot about, baseball and shortstop, and I would say a lot of my fielding ability is because of him and the hours and hours of early work that we put together with him. So like it was, I can't thank him enough. So, but yeah, I would say definitely, obviously, like, what's that?
No, I was just saying paying your dues and really just putting in the time, and kind of some of the things I took away from that was just, you're like a sponge, no matter who you are, when you get, to another level, whether it's college or pro ball or going from rookie ball to A ball, and, keep moving up, just becoming that sponge and really just soaking it in and kind of putting your pride aside and really just learning as much as you can from all of those that have come before you and know more than you or have more experience, and just really taking it all in and, putting together what works for you and learning.
Absolutely. No doubt. And that's what, like, I've learned, I've obviously been around a lot of coaches and a lot of players, and I try to just pick their brains of certain things and see what works for me. But like being able to like play up and play with older guys, like I respect them so much and what they've gone through. And I love picking their brain because they've been through more than me. I haven't made it. Like I want to learn as much as I can and learn as much knowledge as I possibly can from anybody. Even younger guys that have so much talent. Like I kind of want to know what's going on in your head. Like, what are you feeling with your swing or things like that? Love to learn the game more and more each day.
For sure, man. So so you being a utility guy as well, how is it going from, and we see this so much now, going from shortstop or as an infielder, middle infielder, whatever you want to, whatever you're coming from, to outfield? Because we see a lot of guys that are athletes like yourself, that are talented, that are utility guys, that natural infielders that they end up putting in the outfield. So what is that like for you, and what are some of the things that you've learned going to, let's say, playing the outfield, and some of the challenges as well?
Yeah, to be honest, man, when I first got put in the outfield, I was really nervous. Like it's not.
Wait, so it's not just run around and catch the ball? Not that easy?
No, it's not, man. Especially in, like, I had to go to left field, which is, I think, the hardest position out of all three, just based off angles and the way the ball comes off the bat and stuff like that. But it's not just go and run and catch it. I think that it's definitely a talent, it's for sure, but it's all about practicing, getting the reads and everything like that. Obviously, the ball is high up in the air, yeah, just go catch it. But it's those line drives that are hit at you. It's those top spinners. It's the lefty tail. Like, it's being able to read that. That was the most difficult part that I had to get used to. But over time, over like reps in the outfield during BP, kind of reading those swings and then especially getting reps in the game, I've gotten more and more comfortable. But yeah, I think left is the hardest out of all three. I think right, I can see the ball off the bat a little bit easier, and I kind of know what it's going to do more. And center is super easy, I think, because you have the whole field. It's your field. You're the captain of the outfield, and you can see more and you have more range and stuff. But yeah, no doubt, man. It's not just go out there and catch it, dude, because there's a lot more. If you take the wrong drop step, you're beat. Yeah. Like you have to have the right angles and stuff like that. So
what has helped you the most going from, let's say, shortstop to left field? What has helped you the most in that transition, just being a utility guy, obviously shortstop being your main position, but being able to transition and excelling at that. So what has been some of the things that have helped you with that?
So what's helped me with like the transition from there to outfield is that shortstop's all about angles too. Like I would say I'm pretty quick, but I'm not a burner or anything like that. I'm not like super fast or anything like that, but I know how to create the right angle to get to a ball to my left or right. So I feel like, especially like in left field, it's learning how to have the right, like I said, have the right drop step, the right angle to that ball. And I think that's like a huge key, and especially like pre-pitch timing, being able to time the ball into the hitting zone and then reading it from there. And just like shortstop, you're being an athlete, you're timing it and you're just reacting. So I think being able to have the angles kind of helped me transition a little bit easier out and left.
Nice.
And then just being like, I guess when it comes to like throwing and stuff like that, that was weird because a lot of outfielders have a long arm.
Yeah. Oh, you were that short out.
Yeah. But it honestly, I was talking to Quentin Berry. I don't know if you know that name.
Dude, I played against that guy for many years when he was at the Phillies.
He's the man. Unreal player. Unreal.
He's still playing?
Unreal. He's coaching.
Oh, he is. Okay.
Nice. He's coaching with the Brewers. Man, I love that dude. He's taught me a lot about everything, just life in general, and stealing bases and everything like that. He's great, but he was like, dude, don't change. Like, even though, like, don't change your arm. He goes, it's coming out really good. He goes, it's short, it's quick. Like, you feel the ball and you get it right to second. He goes, that's freaking awesome. So, like, don't worry about changing the arm angle or anything like that. So I never messed around with that. I just kept, especially because if I'm going to go from the infield to the outfield, I don't want to change much,
End up hurting yourself. Yeah,
exactly.
You playing a lot of long toss or no?
Yeah, I love long toss. So we do that about 3 or 4 times a week.
Nice.
And I try to do it during season as well, with whoever wants to do that with me. But no, I I like letting it go. So I like getting my arms stronger, and I feel like it's one of my strongest tools. So nice. I definitely want to keep that in shape for sure.
Definitely, and keep it healthy.
Exactly.
So what are some drills, fielding drills that you, whether it's season, off season, that you're always doing, maybe that you've been doing since the very beginning, or you've developed through pro ball, some of your favorite drills that you really like?
Oh man. I've always loved the knee drill, being on your knees and just using your hands, trying to get your hands as soft as you possibly can, using that, or doing that, and then also doing that with like the pancake glove. I love like what I'm talking about.
Oh yeah, like the flat glove.
Just a flat, just a flat glove. I love that. And then over the years, man, just little early work stuff like drills that like are just game like. Just putting yourself in a game situation, a certain angle, a certain attack on a backhand, just rolling it, or even doing ground balls, whatever. But like putting yourself in those tough situations, tough spots. Because I feel like those happen more than often. But then also like for the off season, we have a great machine that we just like spits out ground balls, like certain types of ground balls and everything like that. So working on short hops, working on coming through with the backhand, working on double plays. So that's a great routine. But I'd say the glove work and then just a little bit of footwork is what I like to focus on. So rather it comes from doing like drop steps or doing a little ball to my left, working on my footwork and coming through the baseball, or just rolling a ball right at me and just making sure that my feet keep moving and I'm never stuck. You know what I mean? Yeah.
So footwork's huge. You're a quick guy. And I'm sure footwork's played a huge role in your career, whether it's stealing bags, getting that first step, and that angle to whether it's a ground ball, hard hit ball in the hole, or a fly ball or something. Footwork's probably huge for you. I'm assuming that you probably do a lot of, footwork drills, some type of speed stuff too, whether it's season or off season, right? Like right now, I'm sure you're probably still doing some of that stuff, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I'd say like I love just being able to be as quick as I can, right as I land. Like if say you're in your pre-pitch or whatever, and right as you land, how explosive can you be left and right? And then I love putting myself in like, I don't know, shuffling, like to my left, and then all of a sudden that ball takes a weird hop. Can I switch my feet really quick to go get the ball? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like little drills like that, and then trying to like maneuver the hips differently and try to just feel like, I don't know, just like the body is just, I don't know. I've learned a lot about the body, and I feel like I just want to put myself in like crazy positions and make sure my hips are working differently, and my footwork is like, I could get to that ball a certain way if I'm stuck in this position. Like, you know what I mean? So
Yeah,
just
absolutely.
try to put myself in different spots. But yeah, then like stealing bags and stuff like that. Like I'm always working on like that first initial jump, and that, you know, that push off the back leg and really be explosive. And I feel like even doing that with infield drills, being, like I said before, like the pre-pitch, and then just cutting really quick, you know, to the angle I need to get to. So.
Yeah. You know, I know there's a lot of talk out there about, you know, stealing bags and what guys look for. Like, what do you look for when you're going to steal a bag? You're at, let's say you're at first base. You want to steal
Yeah,
second.
I mean, from what I've been taught, one, like I want to know the time of the pitcher, so I need to know what type, like how quick he is to the plate. Is he a 1-2, 1-3, 1-4? So I'm not a burner. So if the first base coach goes, "Hey, he's a 1-2," I'm gonna shut it down. So I'm chilling. So
yeah. And then he gets that slide set too, and you're just like, oh.
Yeah, exactly. And he's a 1-1, and that, no thanks.
Yeah.
So, but no, yeah, I try to figure out a good time, and then I look off. So before the game, we might know kind of what his hitch is. Like some guys will come set and do a couple head nods and then go home. Some guys will like lean first and then pitch, or sometimes like they hold for 3 seconds all the time. So you kind of like pick up things like that to get a better jump. So like that guy, if this guy's a head nod guy and he's a 1-3 to the plate, all of a sudden you go off that second nod, he could be a 1-5 to the plate now.
Yeah.
So try to look for little things like that. So for me, I want to know if he's doing any of that, and then I want to know the time, and then also the count and who's up. So for me, I love running in like, you know, 1-1 count. It's a good count for an off-speed pitch to be coming here, you know. So try not to run like heater counts, you know.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
But 3-0 I like to run 3-0 because they're not worried about me over there.
Right.
So
for
just
sure.
trying to find little things that, you know, can give me a good jump in and get me a bag.
It's just finding that advantage too, like you were saying. You know, like a lot of guys younger players might think like, hey, I'm just trying to find, you know, find whether it's, you know, some type of movement, his hip, his heel, whatever it is, you know, his head nod, like you were saying. But I mean, not only are you talking about finding what the pitcher does, but now you're talking about, you know, the situation in the game, who's batting, how many outs are there, you know, what the count is. Like there's so many things that go into becoming a good base runner. And being able to just get that advantage, like you were talking about, turning a guy that's 1-2, 1-3 to the plate to a 1-5, 1-6.
Yeah, exactly.
You can find those differences, and so that's just what kind of sets you apart. And I don't think that just goes for base running; it goes for, I mean, I'm sure shortstop. I was an outfielder, so I can only speak for that. But like even the outfield, knowing, you know, who do we have on the mound? What is he throwing? You know, is he a guy that's throwing 95 plus, or is he kind of, you know, more of an off-speed guy? Who's batting? You know, is he kind of a guy that tends to pull everything? What's the count?
Exactly.
Who do we have on base? Like all those things kind of play into effect of where we're going to position ourselves in the field, and you know how we're going to kind of take that advantage and, you know, use it to our advantage. So those are some good points right there for sure.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I mean, yeah, same, like going back to that, just that's huge, man. Knowing what type of, like you said, when you're in the outfield, knowing what type of hitter is up, knowing the count, knowing what's he tending to do. Is he fouling a ball off down the line 4 times in a row? Do you think he's really trying to go the other way here? I think he's
exactly.
So, you know, so like it's just learning the game as the game's going, you know, which is huge. So nice. And then like even picking those things up with going back to base stealing, like when guys have those head nods, like and then all of a sudden a reliever comes in and you're on the bench, can you watch, like, runners on first base, can you watch him from the dugout, see if he's doing anything like that, you know? and then relay it to your teammates. So
Yeah.
it's just being aware and being into the game, each moment, which is hard to do, no doubt. Don't get me wrong, it's hard because it's a long game, but
and especially when the game, it's a long game, but the game goes quicker too, from a player standpoint.
Player standpoint, exactly.
Yeah,
so
maybe not for someone in the stands, but players at the game speed. What do you, for younger players that are really athletic, and guys that are kind of on the fence of, let's say they have a club coach, a high school coach, maybe even a college coach, that's saying like, hey, listen, you might not have any opportunities here at second base or shortstop or whatever, but we have an opening in, this, third base or left field. What do you have to say regarding players that possibly have some skill, that have opportunities of becoming like utility players, or just focusing on like maybe just one position?
So, I mean, for me, man, now, like, I've gotten to experience both sides. So I got drafted as a shortstop. I moved up the ranks. I got to AAA as a shortstop, and I love short. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, I was like, when I first got told that, hey, you're going to be playing second, third, whatever. I was upset. I didn't want to move out of my position. You know what I mean? But it was a blessing in disguise, because I think it's huge and so valuable in today's game to be able to play all those positions, and it makes it more fun, no doubt. And if you could say you could play all those positions, I think it's great for any team in the major leagues. Would love to have someone like that, So my advice is, try not to let that get to you. Go ahead and learn this new position, and maybe that might be your calling at that position. Yeah. The dream is to get to the big leagues. The dream is to be there and be able to play and help the team win. It shouldn't matter where you're playing, as long as you're saying, hey, I'm in the big leagues right now. It's like, even if you're playing right field or whatever, and you're
no matter where you're at, you're there.
I'm in there. So I'll do whatever I possibly can to get there. And right now, I feel like if I'm were to make it, this being a utility player is my ticket to getting there. So I think it's huge for everyone to try and learn different positions and because, I mean, baseball is political. Like, there's a lot of, they got to get their prospects at short, and the guys that they're paying, they got to pay the guys and let them play there. So if that's the case, you got to just go in there and, put your head down and work and be ready for wherever you need to play.
Right. Just that opportunity, for sure.
Yeah, exactly.
Awesome, man. Well, dude, I appreciate you jumping on the call today in this interview. That
absolutely, bro.
For us. But so you're with the Mets. You were in camp. So you're with the Brewers. You were at the Tampa Bay Rays for how many years?
7 years with them.
7 years, and then you went to the Milwaukee Brewers for 2
years, and then now I'm with the Mets.
Mets. So you were in camp this year with the Mets, and obviously with this whole COVID pandemic, things on hold. So wish nothing but the best for you and the start of the season, and everything moving forward for yourself, man.
Thank you so much, Dan. I appreciate it, man. Thank you for having me on here. It was a blast, man.
Of course, man. And we'll have to stay in touch and see how things go in the future here for you, brother.
Absolutely, man. Let's definitely stay in touch.
Awesome, man. Well, hey, again, thanks again for jumping on the call, and we'll be in touch, brother.
Cool. Sounds good, bro.
Have a good one.
Take care.
Take care, buddy.
You too, man.